This is the most expensive warship ever built by any nation in human history. It cost over $13 billion. It launches fighter jets not with steam, but with magnets. Its nuclear reactors generate so much electricity, they were designed to one day power laser weapons that don't even fully exist yet. And it's so automated that it runs with hundreds fewer sailors than any carrier before it. This is the USS Gerald R. Ford, the most advanced aircraft carrier on planet Earth, and a machine built not for today's Navy, but for the Navy of the future. But here's the surprising part. Getting it to work nearly broke the people who built it. Let me explain. For 50 years, America's supercarriers were the Nimitz class. Magnificent ships, but based on technology going all the way back to the 1960s. By the 2000s, the Navy wanted to make a generational leap. Not an upgrade, a total reinvention. So they created the Ford class and packed the lead ship with more than 20 brand new technologies at once. The result, commissioned in 2017, was named after Gerald Ford, the 38th president, a man who himself served on an aircraft carrier in World War II, and this ship rewrote the rulebook on almost everything a carrier does. Let's start with the headline, how it launches its jets. For over 60 years, America's supercarriers flung their aircraft into the sky using steam catapults. Powerful, but harsh, hard to control, and demanding enormous maintenance. The Ford threw that entire system in the trash. Instead, it uses something called EMALS, the Electromagnetic Aircraft Launch System. Think of it like a magnetic railgun, but for launching planes. Instead of a violent blast of steam, EMALS uses a smooth, precisely controlled electromagnetic pulse to accelerate a jet down the deck. And the advantages are massive. It's gentler on the aircraft, extending their lifespan. It can be fine-tuned to launch anything from a heavy, fully loaded fighter to a tiny, lightweight drone. And combined with a new electromagnetic landing system, it lets the Ford launch and recover aircraft around 30% faster than a Nimitz carrier. More jets into the fight in less time. But the real secret of the Ford isn't the catapult, it's the power plant hidden deep inside. The ship is driven by two brand new nuclear reactors called the A1B, and they are monsters. They generate roughly 3 times the electrical power of the reactors on the older Nimitz carriers. Now here's the fascinating part. The Ford doesn't actually need all that power today. So why build it? Because the Navy is thinking decades ahead. All that spare electricity is reserved for the weapons of tomorrow, high-energy laser cannons, advanced electromagnetic systems, and futuristic defenses that are still being developed right now. In other words, they built a ship today with the power to run the weapons of the 2040s. The Ford isn't just prepared for the future, it's waiting for it. And it's smarter too. Using heavy automation, the Ford was designed to operate with around 600 fewer crew members than a Nimitz-class carrier. That might not sound dramatic, but over the 50-year life of the ship, fewer sailors means saving billions of dollars. Add in its new reactors, which never need refueling for the ship's entire life, and the Ford was engineered to be cheaper and more efficient to run over the long haul, even though it cost a fortune to build. And that fortune is where the story gets real. Cramming over 20 brand new, unproven technologies into a single ship while still building it was a nightmare. The magnetic catapults broke. The advanced weapons elevators, meant to rush bombs to the deck, failed over and over. The landing system struggled. Costs exploded past $13 billion, years behind schedule. Critics called it a floating disaster, a symbol of everything wrong with military spending. But slowly, painfully, the engineers fought through it. They fixed the elevators, they tamed the catapults, and the Ford finally sailed on real deployments, proving the technology actually works. Every problem they solved is a lesson now baked into the next ships in the class, the future John F. Kennedy, the future Enterprise, and more. So the USS Gerald R. Ford is really 2 stories in one. It's the most painful, over-budget shipbuilding saga in modern naval history, and it's also the boldest leap forward in carrier design in half a century. A ship that launches jets with magnets, generates power for weapons that don't exist yet, and points the U.S. Navy straight into the future. The USS Gerald R. Ford, the $13 billion bet on tomorrow.